Hey guys, Terencer here with some updates for you about Fallen Angels Complete Edition, aka Daraku Tenshi. So many of you know that in May of last year, reports started to leak onto some of the more niche gaming websites about how Zero Div, who's owned by City Connection, is working on a completed edition of Daraku Tenshi The Fallen Angels, which will of course include the missing characters and rebalancing of the game and things like that. Anyway, this came out about a year ago. People who are big in the Daraku Tenshi community like myself were of course very excited about this. Seeing this game completed is like a weird fever dream almost, especially hearing that we're going to complete it. But this news came out of a conference that was at Mikado Gaming Center in Japan, which is a pretty famous, well-known arcade. They've got a lot of fighters there. They're known for their fighters. But anyway, it came out that they were going to port this thing to the EXA Arcadia system. Now that's a new age, almost Neo Geo-like arcade hardware system that basically allows owners to swap out games very quickly depending on what's being played, what's not. It's very easy for them to install it and install new games, and it's one cabinet. If you look at EXA's Arcadia's literature, their whole stated goal is basically making an arcade feasible again. So, props to them for doing that. Anyway, Daraku Tenshi Complete Edition was slated to come to this thing and then later be ported to home consoles. And if I had to guess, they actually meant Switch, because if you look at all of Zero Div's offerings on console, it's pretty much ported Psycho games that have been ported to Switch, and they port everything to both regions. Like, mainly they've got Gunbird and a few other things, but like even those, shall we say, somewhat risque, hot gimmick games that Psycho developed way back in the day, Zero Div ported all those, to Japan and USA on Switch, no big deal. So if all that stuff can come to North America, I said, oh, awesome, Daraku Tenshi Complete Edition, it's coming for sure, it's going to come out in America when it's done. It's going to be great. So that was in May, and the months passed and nothing happened. No news, there was no information, nothing. So in October of last year, I reached out to EXA Arcadia on Twitter because the game is still on their website even to this day. And I said, is Daraku Tenshi Complete Edition still happening? They said yes. Now, I know how secretive Japanese developers are. They don't like to give away a whole lot of what they're doing, and the culture, you just don't question and that sort of thing. So I just said, awesome. Looking forward to it. It's good to know it's still happening. So obviously this was in October. Well, now it's September of 2020. We're coming up on a year that I sent this tweet, and there's still no news. So I did some digging last night. People in the Daraku Tenshi Discord were talking about it again. And so I said, I wonder if I can find anything. So I went on Twitter. I looked around. People were still talking about the game. I found one Japanese player who said that Complete Edition is coming at some point, just talking about playing it. There's still a lot of mentions of the game, but no new information. And then EX Arcadia, they're still not talking about it. They're too busy promoting Aka and Blue and whatever garbage fighter that isn't Daraku Tenshi that's popular these days. So I went to City Connection's website, and I sent them a message on their website and said, hey, are you guys currently working on Daraku Tenshi? And you can see right here behind me, there are currently no specific projects for the Fallen Angels. Now, the fact that Google Translate did this thing as well as it did, this is definitely form letter language here. Either that or they were trying to be very simple because my Japanese was probably really bad and they knew I was an English speaker. But City Connection sure ain't working on this thing, unless they're just being coy and they're like, oh, we're not working on it. Zero Div is, even though they're our company. But I really doubt that. Like I said, the thing is still on EXA's website, but I don't know, guys. I think the thing could be dead. I don't know if COVID just killed it and they just did not have the bandwidth to work on it, or if maybe interest wasn't as high as they thought it was, or if they were just kind of talking about potentially doing it there at Mikado and somebody heard it and put it on Twitter, and somebody just took that information and ran to the gaming websites and was like, hey, look, they're doing this. And, it was just kind of a mistranslation of something that was happening. I don't know. Obviously, it's very sad. I do hate to hear them say this. I do hope the game surfaces eventually, but at this point, I'm kind of losing hope because there would have been some sort of update like, hey, we're changing developers, or hey, this has been delayed. I just think maybe they talked about doing it and they said, hey, maybe this thing is not as popular as we thought it was. It's really just a niche cult classic and not worth doing. Anyway, tell me below in the comments what you think happened to Daraku Tenshi Complete Edition. Will it ever see the light of day? Was development ever started? Was it actually ever a thing, or was it just a translation error? Who knows, guys? I'd love to hear what you think. Thanks so much for watching, and I appreciate you.